Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Oh, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Congress then called for Donald Trump to take a cognitive test. I told you the son of a bitch was in cognitive decline. Put his ass in the old folks' home. Lock his...
The president has, quote, gone mad. This is a medical judgment that I am not qualified to make, but I understand what Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about. Experts have repeatedly warned that the president has been exhibiting signs consistent with dementia and cognitive decline. And in recent days, the country has watched President Trump's public statements and outbursts turn increasingly incoherent, volatile, profane, deranged, and threatening. His apparently deteriorating condition has caused tremendous alarm across the nation and political spectrum about the president's cognitive function and continuing mental fitness for the office of the president, and prompted concerns about the president's well-being at a time when our country is at war, especially when the war was initiated by the president without congressional declaration or consent. The American people must be able to trust that the commander-in-chief has the mental capacity to discharge the essential duties of his office. I therefore request that you conduct a comprehensive cognitive assessment of President Donald Trump, provide the results to Congress, and make yourself available to brief Congress on your findings. Republicans and Democrats alike have recognized that presidential cognitive fitness is a matter of urgent and essential public concern, and that it warrants rigorous congressional oversight. Calling former President Joe Biden's mental acuity one of the greatest scandals in our nation's history, Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer actually subpoenaed the White House physician and issued a comprehensive staff report on the subject. Judiciary Committee Chairman Jordan declared that the president, who is not cognitively fit, isn't fit for office. I trust that both chairmen will stand by his important principle today, with the country in an uproar over the president's recent fulmination and mad threats. President Trump's recent behavior has raised unsettling questions about his mental state. On Easter Sunday morning, the 79-year-old president of the United States posted the following message on Truth Social at 8:03 a.m. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all wrapped up in one. In Iran, there will be nothing like it. Open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. The post combined vulgarity and profanity, unprecedented threats of mass civilization destruction, and a sarcastic invocation of Islam on Easter morning, a bizarre display that shocked tens of millions of Americans and astonished observers across the political spectrum. Then, at the White House Easter egg roll the following day, the president, flanked by the Easter Bunny and surrounded by hundreds of children in pastel dresses and bunny ears, launched into an inexplicable rant about the Iran war, describing bombing missions, downed fighter jets, and rescue operations to an audience of small children. He then told the assembled children that he could sign autographs and the kids could sell them for $25,000 on eBay, before descending the White House steps with labored physical difficulty, gripping the First Lady for support, and displaying visible dark bruising on his right hand. On Tuesday morning, the president dramatically escalated his disturbing rhetoric with the following post on Truth Social. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. In a dashed-off social media post, the President of the United States threatened to commit war crimes or even genocide on a country of more than 90 million people. Legal experts and world leaders, including the Pope, have repudiated those threats and warned that any strikes on civilian infrastructure and populations would constitute war crimes. The deep and growing alarm about the president's mental fitness does not follow party lines. Some of the president's most prominent allies and former allies have been sounding the loudest alarms of all. Former Representative Greene, one of President Trump's fiercest defenders in Congress, after declaring that the president has gone insane, called for the invocation of the 25th Amendment. Tucker Carlson, who campaigned for the president in 2024, called the Easter egg Sunday post vile on every level and urged members of the administration to figure out the codes on the nuclear football to prevent catastrophe. Candace Owens called the president a genocidal lunatic and demanded that our Congress and military need to intervene. Even Alex Jones warned that the president sounds like an unhinged supervillain and asked on his broadcast, how do we 25th Amendment his ass? These concerns are widespread, with medical experts and the majority of Americans now believing the president lacks the mental sharpness and physical health to serve effectively. And they cite a poll where the majority or significant majority of Americans say Trump is unfit and the 25th Amendment needs to be invoked. This is plainly out of the realm of normal politics. When the President of the United States threatens to extinguish a civilization on social media, rants about combat missions with children at the Easter egg roll, and drops profane tirades on Easter morning, we have indisputably entered the realm of profound medical difficulty and concern. In October 2025, you issued a statement declaring that the president continues to demonstrate excellent overall health. In light of the president's extreme behavior over the past week, to say nothing of his conduct in office more broadly, the public must know whether you will stand by that assessment. As Republican congressional leaders have repeatedly said, the American people deserve to know whether our president is mentally capable of making life or death decisions that his office demands. Accordingly, no later than 5 p.m. on April 24th, 2026, I insist that you 1. Conduct comprehensive neurophysical assessments of the president, including a formal cognitive screening instrument, and publicly release the results. 2. Provide a detailed report on president's current mental and physical health status, including any medications that he is currently taking and their potential cognitive side effects. And 3. Make yourself available for a briefing under oath with members of the committee on the results of this assessment. I look forward to your prompt compliance with this important and urgent oversight request. Very truly yours, Jamie Raskin, Ranking Member, and he copies the Honorable Jim Jordan.
Oh, look, America. If they depose Hillary Clinton to come in front of Congress, why they can't depose motherfucking Melania Trump to come in Congress? She was in the Epstein file. Put the handcuffs on that bitch. Lock her mother.
Now, Kristen Holmes had this to say about the aftermath of the press conference, which she reports left the White House stunned. Play the clip.
Yeah, Aaron, I mean, I'm told by a number of White House officials that they were just absolutely stunned, particularly by the timing of these remarks. In fact, it sparked rumors all across the White House campus that she was trying to get ahead of something that most people must not know about. That's the only way she would get out there and do this now. Now, I am told by people who are close to her that they were a little bit less surprised because in private, Melania Trump has been growing increasingly frustrated with the online chatter about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. And she's never actually come out and flat out denied it. And she wanted an on the record denial. And I was told that even within the sources that are close to Melania Trump, who were talking to the team about this, there were some concerns about the timing of this, particularly the fact that this story had all but died down. The White House had spent months trying to get away from this narrative on Epstein. They've only been able to really do so in the last month and a half as we've been at war with Iran. So the timing would bring this all to the forefront. But some sources said that for Melania, this was in the forefront, that she'd been seeing this online chatter. She'd been seeing these stories circulating in various online news reports about her relationship with Epstein, much of it, or most of it, all speculation, but that she wanted to have this denial. Now, of course, Donald Trump did a quick interview with MS Now in which he told a reporter he had no idea what she was going to say. A senior White House official told me that as well, although we do have one source in the West Wing saying Donald Trump was aware of these statements.
Oh, look, America. This how Melania Trump got her ass to America when she was tricking at the Kit Kat Club in New York. Born April the 26th, 1970 in Slovenia. Melania began her modeling career at the age of 16. At the age of 18, she signed with a modeling agency in Milan. After obtaining a degree in design of University of Slovenia, Melania was getting between photo shoots in Paris and Milan, finally settling in New York in 1996, where she met Donald Trump at the Kit Kat Club where all the big noses and all the ballers be, where she was tricking with the rest of the motherfucking models. Donald Trump met her at the Kit Kat Club by Epstein and her agents. Put the handcuffs on her. Her motherfucking green card been up since 96. Lock her motherfucking ass up and ship that bitch back to Slavia.
To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence.
Oh, look, America. Melania Trump said she never met Elaine Maxwell. Now, I got the transcript. I got the news article. I got the letter. Put the handcuffs on my ass. Lock.
Donald Trump is now saying that he is preparing military operations in case talks with Iran fail. Well, Donald, you agreed to their 10-point negotiating framework, and they're saying if that's not what's being discussed, they're not going to show up. And you're saying they didn't understand English, and that's why there's a whole misunderstanding here. And that just makes you and the United States, frankly, look pathetic as a result of your behavior, Donald. Trump said the following to the New York Post. We're going to find out in about 24 hours. We're going to know soon. We're loading up the ships with the best weapons ever made, even at a higher level than we used to do a complete decimation.
Oh, look, America. Now, we as Americans always fancied ourselves of being the good guys. And the good guys don't commit Holocaust. The Persian culture is an ancient culture. It's beautiful. It is the cornerstone of civilization. Now, Donald Trump think he have the right and playing God of dismantling and wiping out a whole culture, a whole lineage. Who the fuck he think he is? Put the handcuffs on him. Turn his punk ass around. Kick him in his ass. Lock his motherfucking ass up. Him, his whole motherfucking administration, excluding Netanyahu.
Melania Trump's dark past is surfacing as that disastrous press conference she decided to hold yesterday regarding the Epstein files backfired in her face. We've seen Melania's name in the Epstein files, emails between her and Ghislaine Maxwell saying, "Hey, G, how are you? You look great in New York Magazine with Jeffrey Epstein." And then Ghislaine Maxwell, I'm paraphrasing, Ghislaine Maxwell responded, "Hey, sweet pea, can't hang out with you right now. Next time we're around, we'll try to hang out with each other." I mean, there are multiple photos with Ghislaine and Melania and Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein that are together. And when you take a look at Melania's dark past and how she got here into the United States in 1996 from Slovenia, she said she graduated from a university in Slovenia, which she did not graduate from that university. And she seemed to be putting false information on her official biography that she had to take down. There's lots of murky areas about when she really met Donald Trump. And she said she met him at a Kit Kat club when this modeling agency she worked for that was run by a guy named Paolo Zampoli, who's now an ambassador for the United States. But he ran a modeling agency where he brought Eastern European girls and women to the United States as models. And then they would have these parties at the Kit Kat Club, and wealthy Manhattan men would meet the models at the Kit Kat Club. And at one of these parties, Donald Trump met Melania. And then also in the Epstein files, there's references to Donald Trump talking about meeting Melania and how he used pretty explicit terms to refer to her looks and how he thought she looked at the time. And it's all very, very gross stuff.
Oh, look, America. Don't believe that bullshit that Melania Trump trying to sell y'all. She got up there crying crocodile tears talking about she ain't no Jeffrey Epstein. I got the transcript. I got the emails. Thanks, Mighty's Touch. Lock her mother...
Now look here, Donald Trump. Let me ask you something. What makes you think just because you're in office, you could take advantage of people that has a disability. People like me, mentally challenged. MMID, mild mentally intellectually disabled. And another example, my girl, who has a learning disability. What makes you think you could take our disability away and sit there and say you can't pay for Medicaid, you can't pay for daycares, and all this other shit, but you got the right, just because you're in office, you could take advantage of us and the rest of the civilians in the world? No, it don't work like that. Because let me tell you something. If I had a mental illness and I knew I had a mental illness, I wouldn't be in office. I wouldn't be running for president because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Oh, another thing. Just because I have a mental illness does not mean I could take advantage of the next person that has a mental illness as well. No, you're just being a bully. You're being a bully to the weakness who can't defend themselves, and I'm one of the few that takes up for everybody that has that problem. I love bullies. I tear them up.
Oh, look, America. I want y'all to imagine some shit with me. Can you dig it? Check it out. I want y'all to imagine the emotional sickness that allows one single human being to believe that they and they alone should determine if 93 million people should live or die. But also that the stories of the civilization that preceded thousands of years, the birth of Jesus Christ, 7,000-year-old civilization. Donald Trump, turn his punk ass around. Put the handcuffs on him. Kick him in his ass. Bring Melania Trump up here. Put the handcuffs on her. Kick in her ass. Lock both of they motherfucking ass up. Him and his whole motherfucking administration. Straight the fuck up. Can you dig it?
Mr. Can you dig it? And you're right, dog. You're really right. Nah. Donald Trump, you might as well go ahead and leave the office. You know you got a mental illness. You know you take medication. You know you got to take them like it's supposed to. Facts. It's all there. There's no hiding. There's no running from it. Let somebody in. Let them run the White House. Go ahead and max you out real quick. You know. Go back to Barstow where you came from.
Oh, look, America. Netanyahu and the Israel clique need to be summoned to America. They need to be brought in front of the American people, put the handcuffs on them, kick all of them in their motherfucking ass. Netanyahu, the Israel clique, lock up.
What's MAGA Mike doing? They're posting messages right now from the House gallery that says the following. The House of Representatives has adjourned until 12 p.m. Tuesday, April 14, 2026 for morning hour. The House then meets 2 p.m. for legislative business. I mean, it must be nice. Do they even work at all? Or they just continue to take vacations and continue to allow Donald Trump to engage in these unlawful wars and, frankly, war crimes, these disastrous foreign war crimes? We have Donald Trump privately telling his cabinet and telling people in the White House that he truly doubts the Strait of Hormuz will ever fully reopen soon. And he's getting very, very worried, despite him publicly saying that oil will flow again quickly and the Strait of Hormuz is open. Donald Trump is privately confiding that he thinks that Iran is never going to give up control. You have all of the Arab nations in the Middle East that were once allied with the United States. They're seeing what's going on, and they're saying if this is what's going to happen and the U.S. is going to let Iran continue to just control the Strait of Hormuz, and Donald Trump has given up America's security umbrella, which formed the basis of all of our quid pro quo pay-for-play payments to Donald Trump, then we might have to just engage in our own military intervention, and there may be just an entire Middle East war that could break out very soon. And then Donald Trump, while all this is going on, while MAGA Mike has has abandoned Congress. Trump's just calling up the New York Post and saying things like this. You're dealing with people in Iran that we don't know whether or not they tell the truth. To our face, they're getting rid of all nuclear weapons. And then they go out to the press and say, no, we'd like to enrich. Donald, in Iran's 10-point plan, it literally says enriched uranium is permitted, that you agreed to, and you posted you agreed to their 10-point plan. You also gave them control over the Strait of Hormuz. You also said they could charge $2 million. You also said that the United States would remove all military bases in the Middle East. You also said Iran can keep all ballistic missiles, Shahid drones, and FPV drones. You also said you would pay Iran war reparations. That was their 10-point plan that you agreed to. And we all saw what it was when you did it. You can try to lie, but you agreed to this plan. Donald Trump then said, we're loading up the ships with the best ammunition, the best weapons ever made. If we don't have a deal, we will be using them, and we will be using them very effectively. Well, Iran's negotiating team says, okay, keep on talking like that. We're just not going to show up. We control the Strait of Hormuz. We hold the cards, Donald, and we will not be going to Islamabad at all.
Oh, look, America. MAGA Mike Johnson out of Shreveport, Louisiana, the Speaker of the House, the country son of a bitch, refusing to open up the motherfucking government because they refuse to stop Donald Trump with his Iran war. Put the handcuffs on that cupcake. Lock his motherfucking
energy, affordability for Americans, and energy security, and then the ability right now for the U.S. to be in a position where we've got the lowest energy prices in the world right now because of President Trump.
Here's what Trump's Energy Secretary Chris Wright had to say. Play it.
Quick before you go, what do you make of this comment from Saudi Arabia officials that oil prices could soar past $180 a barrel if the disruptions persist until late April?
Yeah, Iran's attacks have been terrifying because these are countries they've lived near for decades. They're aiming at their airports, their apartment buildings, their condo buildings, their energy infrastructure. So this destruction certainly is not helpful for global oil prices. The United States military needs to finish the job to defang Iran's ability, so they won't do this for the next 47 years. But we've got to get through the period we're in. Thank God we have American energy dominance.
More from Chris Wright right here. I'll play you this clip right here.
Some people are saying, look, how do you justify Iran monetizing oil during this conflict?
Yeah, well, this is a very short-term period. That oil was going to be monetized anyway. Again, it was just waiting in a line to unload in China. So that oil would have been monetized other ways. But the action against Iran right now is to just pummel their military capabilities. For 47 years, they've terrorized their neighbors. They've had multiple attempts to block the flow of oil through the Straits of Hormuz before. They have been a geopolitical influence that has driven up the price of energy through my entire adult life. And we just did not want to kick that can down the road to one more administration, because Iran spends almost all its oil and gas money on armaments, conventional armaments surrounding a nuclear program. Like, you cannot have a nuclear-armed Iran. They would be able to put pressure whenever they want, wherever they want, if they had nuclear weapons and a massive nuclear arsenal. So this president has had the bold leadership, and our military every day, every hour of every day, is degrading their ability to terrorize their neighbors, threaten Americans, and the infrastructure to build the next round of armaments. This is it's a rough conflict to go through, but it is very, very necessary.
Oh, look, America. Donald Trump just need to go his ass to jail, period. Look, he already fucked up our stock market. Now he's the only president in history that started a war and lost the motherfucker. Lock his... Oh, look, America. Paula Zampoli ran in the same social circle as Jeffrey Epstein, even running a charity with Elaine Maxwell. They all are crooked. Lock his motherfucking...